What is up, everybody? Happy Sunday to you. I realize that people who go against the grain, who are not measuring up to stereotypes, I find that we're probably very perplexing to a lot of people who actually have been indoctrinated into believing certain ideas and bandwagon thinking, you know. And it's so funny. Criticism is not being a hater, right? Because I'm one of those people, I can look at what is being projected to me and I can comment about those things, especially if those projections are counterproductive to the narration of Black women, Black people. I'm always going to jump on the mic and just say, hey, you cannot broad stroke any group of people in any way. There are Black women of very diverse sorts. There are some who jump on to the idealism of what a Black woman should be. We should be strong and empowered and take no prisoners. And then there are others who say, you know what? We should be all those things, but have grace and always present ourselves with grace. And the more that we do that, the more that people will be more intimidated to actually come at us with nonsense. So I looked at the exchange between Marjorie Taylor Greene and Jasmine Crockett. Now, number one, the introduction of the ignorance in the conversation came from Marjorie Taylor Greene, right? Marjorie Taylor Greene put ignorance on the table. And she did that, because obviously she was in the middle of exchange with a Black woman. And people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, in their mindset, Black people have lower IQs, right? And so the Democratic Party really don't help, because as opposed to them actually elevating true Black intellectuals, right, they elevate Black people with strong emotional dispositions about a topic or a matter, right? So if you're one of those pro-blackity black people, you all about the reparations and the, equity and inclusion and all that other, stuff. There's so many different camps of thought in the Black segment of America. It's insane. Honestly, I've been evaluating them more closely in the last 4 years. I'm like, damn, there are so many camps, even, with your keep the struggle alive Blacks, then you have the let's be elevating and progressive Blacks. There's so many schools of thought in the Black community that these broad stroke narrations about Black people that the mainstream media likes to perpetuate it's really just not fair to just the population among Black people. And a lot of times I'll say it again, the mindsets and the behaviors of poverty line Black people are constantly conflated across the economic classes in Black America. And a lot of times that's not fair. And it's very demeaning to those who are just as harder workers, people who are conscious of legacy just like anybody else. And I don't think that a lot of people realize that whether it's a Democrat blackface or a Republican blackface, these individuals are championing policies that really don't serve Black people in the long term, right? And I don't think that people realize that, because they're just looking for sometimes a quick check, and this is across spectrums, right? But at the same time, some of these policies that people are attacking, they actually attack the Black people who actually did what they needed to do to establish legacy wealth. And what they're doing is punishing them vicariously through these tax the rich. There's a large segment of Black Americans who are net worth 1 million over, right? And what they're doing is trying to short squeeze these people, right? Many of them have built their empires with real estate, right? Reinvesting in themselves instead of going out to eat and crapping out their money every month. These people decided to actually invest it in something that gave them a return, right? A lot of these policies short squeeze them, right? So when you're making these pro blackity black arguments because you want to kind of cater to the segment that has been disenfranchised, but a lot of times that still boils down to the policies. Like a fair education in America boils down to tax bracket. And that's what it is. A lot of Black people intentionally put their kids in school districts where it's more non-Black just so that the perception of having a chance at a better education, right? That's real. That is so real. Like that many Black parents make that executive decision because they understand that the wider a school district look, the more opportunities there are for their kids on so many different social development levels. Even though you do still got to be cautious with your kids in these white school districts because a lot of them have these liberal people who are in these, administrative roles, and they're always trying to target Black kids, with being economically disenfranchised and in need of some kind of extra help when really they just, and even the white kids, it's like, because I talk to even white parents and they're like, yeah, the way that they're just cramming this information into the kids and then they're moving on and it's overwhelming to them. They give them these practice sheets with like all these problems and it's just like, it's frustrating. I feel bad for children that go to school, but off that, I feel like the Black politicians that, we have, I'm not going to say that they're all like not like smart to some degree and they don't come with their own intelligence. I'm just saying that they're not propped into those positions because of that. A lot of these people are really asses in the seat and they reflect some idealism about Black people that they feel like, sort of validates projections that they want to put out there to society about Black people. So when you have the clips of Jasmine Crockett going in, even if it's on, an ignorant person like Marjorie Taylor Greene, right, where she's actually getting down to her level, right? It's like, guess what? It is expected for you to be ignorant, right? And if you're not carrying yourself with that ignorance, you're in a sea of snakes. They're going to try to bring it out so that you can fit this projection of a Black woman. And if you give them that courtesy, right, you become a soundbite. You become a stereotype being projected. And that's what's going on with Jasmine Crockett right now is you look on Twitter and, there's just this vile exchange between her and Marjorie Taylor Greene and this disorderly. And basically, Marjorie Taylor Greene achieved her objective of making Jasmine Crockett look like this unhinged Black person because she was poking at her, right? And then it inflamed her to the point where it's like she basically became the stereotype, right? And, I understand you don't let anybody sit there, punk you and bully you, but there's a way that you can shut people down, like I said, with grace, where you're not coming off as a stereotype of Black woman, because really, Marjorie Taylor Greene, no matter if it's a Black woman that's challenging her, she's always going to look at that person as being lower because she's been indoctrinated into believing that Black people are emotionally irrational and we're low IQ, right? She's part of that camp of thought, right? So she's going to try to poke at that woman, right, so that she can bring out or at least present a soundbite or clip of this woman, right, in that state to validate what ignorant people like her think, right? So Jasmine Crockett bit the bait, right? And she went off on her, right? Right? And of course, if you poking a Black woman, we not about to we going beyond you talking about our lashes, right? We are about to like really go in on you, right? And that's what she chose to do, right? But it didn't work out well for her because even though you have the liberal media talking about she really handed it to him and blah, 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 and they're vilifying Marjorie Taylor Greene, right? You also have the conservative side, right, painting Jasmine Crockett as this ignorant person. They got their little clip that they can use to narrate her as this typical Black woman who doesn't know how to control herself. So it does give stereotype. Like if I was Jasmine Crockett, I would have just stuck to her original script. She came in like, okay, what are you talking about? You're kind of deflecting, right? And it's like, if we're here for a specific topic, we're going to stick on topic, right? We're not here to talk about what you want to talk about. We're here to talk about this specific thing, right? And that's the problem in Congress is these people want to play these childish games of deflecting here, there, and everywhere instead of sticking to the point. And somebody needs to be intelligent enough to keep these people on script, on code to what is being said. And that was Jasmine Crockett's opportunity to say that, because if you look at a lot of these congressional hearings, these people are going all around the galaxy. They think it's cute to have these hearings with these little attitudes and disgracefulness and stuff like that. It's like these people they're like bickering children, right? And it doesn't help, right, when we become faces in these spaces and we just basically placate into the same thing. It's like, I don't think it's weak to be the voice of reason in the room, right? I don't think it's weak at all, right? And her comeback could have been as simple as, my lashes have nothing to do with this topic, neither do the deflection that you just put on the table. We're talking about X, Y, and Z. Are you prepared to have a conversation about this? Or are you going to waste time deflecting, right? It makes her look stupid, right? But at the same time, you're making her look stupid with a lot of grace. So, and I think that, those things definitely matter, because if she would have did something like that, the only ignorance that would have been put on the table would have been from Marjorie Taylor Greene. And that's just word 100. So I don't care about the emotionally irrational people who commented on my last video with your feelings. I mean, half of you guys don't know how the economy works. You don't know how the political systems are actually working. You're just lemmings to thoughts and movements. And that's why I say, being politically, socially neutral and just being very independent in how you look at these things goes a long way, because then you start not sounding like everybody else. You're able to reason on what is the root cause of why certain things are happening, why are certain things being perpetuated. And it's happening on the Democrat and the Republican side, where they're, obviously propping these, certain types of people that the mainstream entertainment space has already narrated as ignorant. They're propping them in these political spaces, right? And then they're giving them by irritation or production, they're able to deliver these sound bites validating that Black people do not lack self-control, right? And they have really short tempers, and they will really go in and chop you up, right? If you mess with them. And it's like, okay, I get that messaging, but at the same time, you're in a congressional hearing, right? This is not Real Housewives, right? She came in wanting to cat fight. You got to be intelligent enough to know what she's doing. And you have to be intelligent and have emotional control enough to not let her take you there. She was intentionally taking Jasmine Crockett there, right? And Jasmine Crockett followed her. She bit the bait, right? So now both of them look ignorant as representatives. They both look ignorant. They look childish and ignorant. So, anyways, going higher. When they go low and you go higher, what does that mean to people? What does it mean to people these days? I don't know, because I see a bunch of childishness. I see a bunch of pettiness. I see a bunch of adults thinking that type of behavior is acceptable. We tell our kids, focus on conflict resolution, and that's not acceptable. And yet you see adults doing it. So there's not really a clear message to give to kids, especially if they're sitting there watching some of these congressional hearings. These are Peter Pan syndrome-like adults who have been propped up before the people to cast a vote for. Now they've been elected to be asses in the seat, and really none of them are working on an agenda that makes sense to anything but the high-level establishment and their NGOs that got them elected and propped before the people in the first damn place. But Anyways, you guys have a wonderful, wonderful Sunday. Um, Middle of the road conversations and thought are not within the spectrum of think tank that a lot of people are used to. It's just for me, I can't be racist. Like, I can't be racist. I can't be any label, right? Because I don't like people indiscriminately until I have a reason to like them. There are a lot of people I respect. There's a lot of individuals that I meet, no matter what color they are, right? They just have an organically good soul that is in alignment to me. And so that's how I align with people. I don't care if you're black, white, Puerto Rican, or Haitian. If you're a crappy person, you're a crappy person. If you're a stereotype, you're nothing but a stereotype. If you're a prop to the system that you claim is disenfranchising your people, that's exactly what you are. Like, you mean nothing to me, outside of you're just a face that I see representing an idea of struggle on behalf of black looking people, I suppose. I don't know. But anyways, you guys have a wonderful weekend, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye.